We have with us on the line one of the major forces in politics and the Tea Party, former House Majority Leader Dick Armey. He's the chairman of the conservative advocacy group Freedom Works. Good to talk to you again, Dick.
Oh, it's nice to be with you guys again. I love Newsmax.
The Washington Times says President Obama's goal is a large tax increase to help reduce the deficit. House Speaker John Boehner says no way. Where do you see this stalemate ultimately headed?
Well, I really think the Times probably has it partially correct. I think President Obama is frankly into income redistribution, so I think he wants to raise taxes on wealthy people just because he thinks it's not fair that they be wealthy. He thinks that you acquire wealth by some kind of dumb luck. He doesn't appreciate work, innovation, creativity, and so forth. John Boehner is correct. To raise taxes for any reason would be further repressive to the performance of the economy.
Obama is apparently trying to sweet-talk Boehner, lavishing praise on him in order to drive a wedge between Boehner and his House Tea Party members. You know John Boehner very well. Will that tactic work with him?
No, I don't think so. John Boehner is a very professional, very stoic guy. He's been in that town for a long time. He understands about gimmicks and so forth in Washington. But I think he's got his own foundation, core resolve on such sound things as sound economic policy. And my own view is he doesn't need the Tea Party conservatives in the freshman class to get him where he is. He's mostly there by his own volition.
Conservative Republicans are urging their leadership to fight for a balanced budget amendment as part of the debt deal. Democrats in the White House are strongly opposed. Who wins here and why?
Well, quite frankly, my own view is that the conservatives, the fiscal conservatives, are really dug in on this matter. They're not prepared to go out there and vote to raise the debt ceiling, thereby giving the administration another blank check in which to start resuming borrowing unless they see some hard and effective limitations on government growth, in fact, reductions in government growth.
Regarding entitlement programs, Obama insists everything is on the table. Now, why don't Republicans insist on having Obamacare on the table?
President Obama is a perfect example of an observation I've made for a long time, that politicians say insincere things. He not only doesn't have everything on the table, he doesn't even have everybody at the table. You know, Nancy Pelosi, Harry Reid, the Democrat majority in the Senate are AWOL.
Obama says it's time for us to eat our peas. Is he asking Republicans to eat a poison pill instead?
Sure, that's exactly right. President Obama cracks me up. He wants the Republicans to take large tax increases, especially on the most hardworking and successful people in this country, most of whom are small businessmen providing employment opportunities for other people. And he then wants to take his plate of peas, which is cutting down frivolous, unnecessary, and counterproductive government spending programs, silly things like AmeriCorps, for example, National Public Radio, even, in fact, letting the reforms go into effect that make some now mandatory government entitlement programs voluntary. He's the one that won't eat his peas.
The Weekly Standard's Bill Kristol raised more than a few eyebrows last week when he predicted Republicans will cave to Obama's demands. What do you say to that?
Well, I don't think Bill Kristol understands the temperament of this Republican majority. These folks are pretty clear.
We hear a lot of warnings about the U.S. defaulting on its debt, mostly from Democrats and the administration. The definition of default is not making interest and or principal payments on the debt. There seems to be plenty of money flowing into the government every day, though, to make those payments. So how is the U.S. in danger of default?
Well, they're really not. The fact of the matter is, if it really got down to a tight squeeze like on August 2nd, the president could reprogram funds within the existing budget. In fact, he could then, if he needed to, suspend payments on some of the more frivolous programs, maintain his commitment, particularly to our senior citizens, and make those interest payments. Lord have mercy, we just discovered last week that the president is weaseling money back to acorns, even though the Congress has forbidden that they get money. If he's got room in his priority set money through the back door to Acorns, I'm sure he can find some room in his priority set to pay the interest on our debt.
Former House Majority Leader Dick Armey, as always, thanks so much.
Well, thank you all for having me.
Thanks for watching Newsmax TV.